Hey guys, today we're going to be taking a look at a pretty obscure game, Foto Showdown, a Konami Published Pokemon clone featuring over 150 monsters, 70 levels, and even local multiplayer. And this game's so unknown that aside from a few marketing videos, there's only one video about it on all of YouTube. That's crazy, even most shovelware games have full long plays by now. The reason you can't find any footage is that this is a DSi Exclusive game, so it can't be run on any existing emulators, nor are there any capture cards or mods that let you record DSi footage. So I had to resort to drastic measures just to get this grainy footage for you. Originally developed and published by Alpha Unit in 2009, Monster Finder was advertised as a game where you take pictures of everyday objects and turn them into monsters for battle. The game was later picked up by Konami for a USA release in 2010, and the game was renamed Foto Showdown. I did play this a little bit back in the day, but I don't remember much about it. So to take a closer look at this game, I decided to bring in an expert. Someone who's played more Pokemon clones than I can count, my sister. So hopefully she'll be able to help break down this game and explain how it compares to many other clones.
Well, I have played more monster battlers than there are main series Pokemon games, but I'm not sure if that makes me an expert, just kind of obsessed. Anyway, yeah, I just played through most of Foto Showdown, and it's a weird one. The story takes place on the mysterious Obscura Island, a strange deserted island / pocket dimension thing that appears at random. But on its latest appearance, it contained a fully inhabited city. An investigator was sent out to check it out, but they never returned. And now it's up to the main character and their partner to meet up with that investigator and solve the mystery of the island. And you do this by entering a tournament, of course. You're given a camera gun and capsule bullets, so you can capture your own monsters. You'll engage in up to 3-on-3 tactical turn-based battles. But unfortunately this is a mission-based game, so there's no world to explore or side quest. You just proceed through the brackets to increase your rank. You have to pay an entry fee for each fight, to earn money and new monsters along the way. There are various tournament brackets, each with a set number of fights. They each end with a boss fight, and if you win, you'll increase your party capacity. And moving up to a new league will also get you a new camera, allowing you to catch new monsters. And along the way, you uncover the mysteries of the island.
So yeah, you can catch monsters by taking pictures, but the camera they start you with is pretty bad. I hope you like Ryrans because you'll be seeing a lot of them. After the beginner bracket, you'll get a better one, but it's still kind of finicky, especially with indoor lights. But if you can get better lighting, the same objects can give you a wider variety of monsters. Taking photos outside seems to help the best, as the natural light can help colors stand out more. You'll have to buy bullets in order to catch monsters, and even the more expensive ones don't actually guarantee a higher level find. The better cameras give you a wider pool of monsters, and the more expensive bullets give you a better chance of finding something rare, but even with both upgraded, you can still run into the same low-level monsters. To make things worse, the second you take the picture, the bullet is consumed. So you can't preview the monster or retake the photo, that bullet is gone, even if you get a duplicate. And that's all the DSi camera is used for. This honestly could have been a standard DS game. There's nothing about the gameplay that really needs the DSi's extra horsepower. The only thing it uses is the camera. And the whole photography thing doesn't connect to the rest of the game or the story in any way. It just feels underdeveloped. Combat, on the other hand, is much more refined. You can have a party of up to 6 monsters, however, your choices will be limited by your current capacity. When you first get started, your capacity will be 8, with most monsters having a cost of around 3 or 4. So you'll be limited to just 2 monsters, but once you finish the beginner bracket, this will be increased to 12, allowing you to battle up to 4 monsters, assuming they're all low cost. When battling with 4 or more monsters, you'll be able to switch them in and out at a cost of a turn. If one of your monsters dies, a new one from your party will be automatically subbed in next turn. And while this game is turn-based, the actions are based on your monster's speed. So yes, a faster monster will go first, but also if you buff your speed enough, you can gain a turn advantage. Each monster will have 2 attacks, and the attack range will be based on the move. There are multiple types of attacks, some that can only be used close up, while others will work at range. You'll also have the option to spend your turn using items that can cure or inflict status ailments, as well as heal your monsters. If you can't reach your opponent, you can move your monsters across the battlefield, or even switch places with your opponent. And positioning is handled a bit differently than games like Disgaea or Fire Emblem. Yes, you need to move closer to land close range attacks, but there's no objective you need to push, so you only need to move to put your monsters in a more tactical position. Also, in most other strategy games, you can move and attack on the same turn, but you can't do that here, so you have to think carefully about how and when you move your monsters. And sometimes moving is well worth the cost. For example, if you only have one long range character, and your close people are getting pelted from afar, sure you could try to move them in closer, but you'd waste turns for both of them, and you still may be out of range. Or you could use your range character who has more movement, and you could swap positions with the enemy. Then you'll only be spending one turn, and both your short range people be able to attack up close. And your range character may still be able to reach everyone on their next attack. I was actually pretty surprised at how hard this game gets. Even early on, it's much harder than most other similar games. Even in the older Pokemon games, the standard trainer AI would be set pretty low. They use status moves when your HP was low or make other mistakes. And most other trainer games would be a bit on the easier side as well. But in Foto Showdown, most of the trainers are out for blood. They'll always tend to target weakened monsters, they'll spam moves that have a high chance to incapacitate, and in the beginner bracket you'll be forced into 2v3 battles with powerful opponents. And there's no way to upgrade your capacity prior, so you're just expected to fight through it. And the boss of the beginner bracket will take full advantage of his 3 turns per rotation, and you're just expected to get good. The game's economy is a bit odd too. Outside of the tutorials, each match, even in the beginner bracket, will cost money. And the prices may not seem that low, but even if you only buy 2 items and maybe 1 bullet per fight, you'll easily eat through most of it, making it harder to pay for the next fight. And there are no mini games or other easy ways to make money. Replaying battles cost half, but they only give you half the reward. So early on, it's actually much faster just to grind the free tutorials. Bringing your strong monsters makes them really quick, but still kinda repetitive. Basically, the best way to save money is to save before each fight and soft reset if you lose. It's not impossible to save money, but I really feel like the beginner bracket should have been made free, at least on your first time through.
And I'll admit, I did enjoy figuring a lot of this out on my own, and experimenting with various setups. After all, information on this game is hard to come by. But I feel like if you're going to have tutorials in your game, at least make them work. For example, the first one, the movement tutorial, before you go in, all they just say is, moving can be used to your advantage. Try it out. Alright, a 1v1 should be easy enough. Okay, so I guess I should try moving out of their range? Oh, they have a ranged attack. Well, we got one too. But it doesn't do any damage. Guess we gotta move in close. And now we're dead. Okay, time to experiment. What if we move behind them? Oh, their close reach attack is even more powerful. And now we're a turn behind. So we just lose? Literally the only way I found to win is not to move at all and just spam attacks. I guess we could have gone out to catch a second monster, then we could double team them. But we'd hardly need tactical movement for that. Another bad tutorial is the one about healing status ailments. The idea is to use an antidote to clear poison. But if you just attack them right out of the gate, you can easily kill the other monster before they even try to poison you.
This game's also pretty bad at conveying important information. For example, how types work. This isn't fully explained in the tutorial. If you dig through the help section, you're given this. You need to look up each type individually to learn more about it, and we're just given these emojis. It's clear that the smile is good, and dead face is bad, but what's the middle for? Neutral damage? Wait, that can't be right, you can't only be neutral with one other type. Then there's a separate section for special defense and one for physical. Apparently physical's an element now? Do we really have to read all 12 pages just to learn the typing? And how am I supposed to remember that fire beats blob? What kind of type is that anyway? And why is there no section to tell me what else fire beats? The Japanese version of this game came with a 30-page manual that had a lot more detail, and a type chart for easy reference. But the USA release was trimmed down to about 2 pages, with around a quarter of that being the table of content. From lots of testing in Google Translate, I've learned that attacks are split into 2 types, elemental and physical. There are 12 monster types, and those are separate from the 8 elements. When you use a physical attack, it pulls from your strength and uses your monster's type. So for example, if you use a physical attack with a bird, it will always do bird damage. Some monsters are resistant to other monster types, but they'll always take some damage. The meh face means they'll take reduced damage. You can also do strong damage by hitting a weakness, marked by the happy face. Elements, on the other hand, pull from your special stat and don't use your monster's type at all. The trade-off with elemental attacks is that some monsters can fully resist them. That's what the dead face means. The monster will take 0 damage. So in short, there are no fire type monsters, only fire attacks. And physical attacks will always have some effect, but they're locked to the type of your monster. So when considering your team composition, there are 20 total damage types to consider, and there's no easy way to see how they affect each other in-game without manually looking up each monster type. But don't worry, I made a spreadsheet.
Overall, this is closer to a card battle game than your typical monster trainer. Your monsters can't level, evolve, or learn any new moves, so there's really nothing to look forward to with them. They're mostly disposable. Once you get something better, as long as you have the capacity, you're better off dumping the old ones. They don't even bother to give them any personality or lore, their dex entries just describe their basic characteristics. And all of this makes it hard to actually care about your creatures, and that's pretty important to me in this genre. Sure, they look alright, but I don't really care about any of them once they're out of my party. And then the main cast is extremely small too. Aside from the researcher and receptionist, the only other character is your partner, who really doesn't do anything other than boss you around. Sure, the boss characters will show up before and after the fight, but that's literally it. Every other match in this game is against a nameless, faceless opponent. You just click the fight, the battle starts, and if you win, you take the money and leave. It really makes the game feel empty. I'll still probably finish the game though, because I'm still enjoying the combat, and I kinda wanna see where this game goes.
Overall, I don't think this should have been a DSi exclusive. Asking someone to spend $30 on this game, then another $170 on a brand new system, especially if they had a perfectly working DS Lite, that's a lot to ask. Especially when later that year another game called Invizimals would be released in the US. Published directly by Sony, this game took advantage of the PSP's existing player base, and with a simple camera add-on, it would allow for full 3D battles in augmented reality. It even included FMV sequences.
Pardon me while I scan you.
Wow, those have not aged well.
Foto Showdown's monster design was a bit all over the place, but Invizimals had a clear focus on cool, kid-friendly design, and the presentation is much better too. Fully animated 3D models and battles that took place in the real world. And catching monsters required completing unique AR minigames for each creature. Your monsters had much more personality, and could level up and even evolve, making them worth investing in. And while this game is also mission-based, with menus instead of an overworld, you'll have multiple locations to visit as you search for a missing scientist. While you can't actually see each location, they still feel new, as they each have their own native creatures to catch and mini tournaments to fight through. Now this game also has its own set of problems and annoyances, but I can definitely see why this went on to become a franchise. The overall experience is much more refined. However, I really wonder what Foto Showdown would have been like with this kind of budget. It was made by a company known mostly for anime tie-ins and Wii party games, so they likely didn't have much to work with. But they had some great ideas. I really wish they'd get to make a sequel for modern consoles. Foto Showdown had the foundation of a really good monster battle game, and with the Switch eShop, they could easily make a smaller budget title with the same ideas, just expanded.
But as is, Foto Showdown is still an interesting look back at a weird time in gaming history. Heck, even Pokemon got into the AR action later on with Pokédex 3D, and much later, Pokemon Go. But as it stands, I don't think I really recommend this game to a standard Pokemon fan, but if you're like my sister and enjoy weird monster games, I say give it a try. It does a lot wrong, but it's still very unique. But anyway, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was the largest video project I've ever worked on by far, and I feel like it was well worth it. I don't think this game deserves to be forgotten. I really wish more games would strive to mix up established formulas, even if it doesn't always work out. Anyways, I wish I could have covered more, such as field type advantages and special promotional monsters, but I just couldn't find enough information on those. I'll be taking a break from this game for a few weeks, but after that I'll record some more 3DS footage and put it on a separate channel. My camera seems to like the 3DS better. It's less authentic looking with the filtering, but it should be more enjoyable to watch. Once they're live, I'll link them in the description, along with a link to some promotional monsters I found. Also, my sister just got around to finishing the game, so if you want to download an endgame save file just to mess around with, this will be linked in the description as well. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.